Minnesota, mentioned hundreds of times in the Epstein files. Flights to and from the state. For 6 years straight, Epstein paid for all of them. Why Minnesota? Fox 9 identified at least 4 women who took flights to and from Minnesota at Epstein's expense. They lived in his Manhattan residence on East 66th Street. Emails show Epstein flying one young woman from Duluth for weekend trips around her class schedule. Student schedule. Weekend trips. He controlled when she could travel. Files show flights from Minnesota to New York City, to Epstein's New Mexico ranch. Even a $4,000 weekend trip to Paris. All paid by Epstein. All controlled by Epstein. Epstein's staff kept tight records. One email questions whether a woman should travel to New York considering she'd been away recently, including a trip to Minnesota. Epstein okays the trip but tells his assistant, only book for 2 or 3 days. He controlled everything. Another email shows a woman being allowed to travel home to Minnesota for Christmas. Allowed. She needed permission to visit her own home for Christmas. Over 6 years, more than a dozen Minnesota trips documented in the files. May 2009 through 2015. Why Minnesota? At least one victim appears to be from the state. Epstein may have traveled there himself in 2015. He routinely mentioned having Mayo Clinic contacts. In a 2018 message to Steve Bannon, Epstein offered to help get blood tests at West Palm Beach through his Mayo Clinic connections. Bragged he was friends with the clinic head. Medical connections. Trafficking flights. Students flying on his dime. Minnesota wasn't random. It was part of the network. Another hub. Another state. Another trail. Dozens of flights. 6 years documented. Minnesota to New York. Minnesota to New Mexico. Minnesota to Paris. All paid by Epstein. All controlled by Epstein. Minnesota was part of the operation. Like and subscribe for more updates.